Branching is an essential concept in many version control systems, including Git. This feature truly allows multiple contributors to work on a shared codebase without compromising each other's work. First, let's sort out some core terminology. As a rule, there's one main or master branch in a project. All changes to the code, or commits, on this branch are present in the production version of the software that is available to users. Typically, developers work on different branches to avoid getting into each other's way. To integrate the changes made on a side branch into the main branch, they must be pulled in. When work on a branch is finished, the branch is usually merged into the main. Sometimes, when there are changes on the main that were introduced after a branch was created, conflicts arise that need to be resolved before the branch can be merged. This happens when several people try to modify the same file. To illustrate the idea of merging multiple branches, imagine a shopping list for today's dinner. We're not sure if we want to make a chicken sauté or use a Persian-inspired recipe of grilled chicken breast with a yogurt-based dip sauce. These recipes have a few common ingredients and a number of ingredients specific for each recipe. When we've made up our mind, we can choose which recipe to merge into the master list that we'll take with us into the grocery store or use to order today's groceries. But what if we decide to make both dishes? We'll have to merge both lists into one, avoiding duplicates, or, as mathematicians would say, create a union of the two sets of ingredients. This is what Git will do once both branches are merged into the main and all conflicts are resolved. Often developers prefer to handle their branches using the command line or their favorite IDE. We would like to show you how to create and merge branches, commit changes, and resolve conflicts using the web interface of GitHub. To start creating repositories and working with branches, all you need is an account on GitHub. First, we need a repository to work on. Since we don't have any repositories in this account, GitHub helpfully provides the form where we can simply enter the repository name, make it public if we want to, or leave it private, and click the button to create a new repository. There aren't many explicit indicators of the current state, but by default, Git creates a branch called main, which is immediately activated for us. All changes we make at this point are committed to the main branch, such as creating a new file. We need to provide a file name, including the extension indicating that the file is of the markdown type, and save it on the branch by committing the change. The suggested commit message sufficiently reflects the nature of the change. We don't need to modify it. Just confirm the commit by clicking the Commit Changes button, and we are done. A newly created empty file is now available on the main branch. From here, we can start our digressions, first for the chicken sauté ingredient list. The changes will be stored on a separate branch. To create it, we expand the list of branches and type the name of the new branch. It's not found among the existing ones, therefore GitHub offers to create it for us. Now that we are on the chicken sauté branch, we can edit the shopping list right in the browser. Assuming we already have all the condiments in the cupboard, the shopping list will contain only the core ingredients for the dish. As you may have already noticed, in Git, commit is the word for save, and it's a good practice to describe the change, providing, if necessary, the reason for the modification. Once we're satisfied with the commit message, we can click Commit Changes to create the commit on the chicken sauté branch. As we can see from the file preview, the shopping list now contains a nicely formatted list of ingredients, but only on the current branch. If we switch back to the main branch, we'll see that the file is still empty. This is a good starting point for another branch that will contain the shopping list for the Persian chicken recipe. As before, we expand the list of branches, type in the new branch name, and create it using controls of the same dropdown. Once we're on the newly created Persian chicken branch, let's edit the file and type in the ingredients for the dish, making sure we include honey and garlic for the delicious yogurt dip sauce. When the list is ready, we open a commit dialog, write an appropriate commit message describing what has been done, and create the commit on the Persian chicken branch. The file preview confirms we've done everything right. What about other branches? Quickly switching to the chicken satay branch, we make sure the information there is preserved. On the main branch, the shopping list is still empty, which is expected, as all the changes so far have been done on branches. Now it's time for a truly difficult decision. What's for dinner? Depending on the answer, we'll merge one or the other branch into the main. At first glance, chicken satay seems to be a reasonable choice. We can switch to the corresponding branch, which is the first one that we created, go the Code tab, and inspect the page. There is a message informing us about the commit that only exists on the current branch, but not on the main. We remember, it's the ingredient list for chicken satay. The Contribute button will give us a hint about how to bring this change into the main branch. In a command line interface, we could perform a merge directly. On GitHub, we're suggested to open a pull request, a name that originates from the workflow where developers create commits on branches and request that the maintainer of the main branch pulls these changes into the main. A click on the Open Pull Request button takes us to the page that contains a happy sign. The chicken satay branch can be merged automatically. We click the Create Pull Request button, wait until GitHub confirms that there are no conflicts between the branches, and happily accept the proposal to merge the pull request. Confirm the merge, and we're done. As a quick aside, if you prefer to keep the number of branches to the minimum, you can delete the merged branch right away. Or leave it, just in case you may want to keep working on it in the future. Back to the Code tab, we find out that after the merge, we're now on the main branch, where the shopping list contains the ingredients for chicken satay. Looks good, doesn't it? But wait! We suddenly realize that we actually want both dishes. Can we merge two shopping lists into one? Of course. We can try to merge the Persian chicken branch into the main as well, in exactly the same way. Clicking the Contribute button, then opening the pull request in the hope that Git will allow us to merge, like before. The message is different in this case, though. It tells us we cannot merge the branch automatically, but can create a pull request anyway. We know how to do that. Click Create Pull Request, and wait a bit while GitHub is checking if there are any conflicts. We already know that conflicts are present, so GitHub finds them and suggests that we resolve them. Let's do that right away. In the editor, the highlight shows us the lines that are different in two versions of the file. Above the double line, there are lines that are present in the Persian chicken branch, and below there is a line that exists only on the main branch. Since we've decided that we want all ingredients from both lists, we can simply delete the markup indicators and remember to double the amount of chicken fillet so that there is enough for two dishes. Once satisfied with the contents of the file, we click Mark as Resolved and Commit Merge. GitHub will check once again if there are any conflicts between the branches, and since there are none, will allow us to merge the pull request and confirm the merge. Like before, you can delete the branch right away if you prefer to keep things neat and tidy. Back to the Code tab, we discover that we're on the main branch now, and the shopping list contains ingredients for two delicious chicken dishes in sufficient amounts. Depending on your workflow, you may find this routine excessive, but in a large team, the way GitHub manages merging branches via pull requests is often a convenient tool for organizing the work of multiple developers with strictly defined responsibilities.